Hello learners, welcome to this another session of Certificate in Fashion Design program. Uh, Today we will be discussing on the topic identification of perfect seams. So this is a practical activity of course 2 of this program, which is titled as Basics of Pattern Making and Sewing. We have discussed earlier the unit part of this particular course, and this is activity 9 of the practical manual of this particular course, and it is titled as Identification of Perfect Seam. So let us point out what all points we will be discussing in this particular session. So we will discuss the thread tension and its adjustment. As in the last session we have discussed about the sewing machine, its parts and its function, and how to set the sewing machine for proper function. So now we will discuss some remedies and what adjustment we have to do with the machine. So we will just discuss the thread tension and its adjustment and different terminologies related to seams. When we talk about the seam, there are different terminologies which, as a learner of fashion design or a student of fashion design, you should know different terminologies which are related to the seams. So first of all, what activity 9 is about, it is titled as to identify the perfect seam. So we have discussed in the other activities of this particular practical manual the different types of seams, in which we discussed about the flat felt seam, French seam, and different types of seam for every particular fabric. For different fabric we have different types of seams. So how we will know, how we'll get to know which is the perfect seam for the which type of fabric. So in this particular activity you can identify, after going through this activity you can identify which type of seam, which group of seams you can apply for what type of fabrics. So when you will do this activity by your own, you can adjust the thread tensions on the sewing machine, and you can identify and achieve balanced stitch tension. When you will go learn how the seam is and how sewing machine works, you can achieve these two learning objectives by after doing this activity. So the first of all, let us know what all material you require to start this activity. First of all, you require a single needle lock stitch machine, as we have discussed also what this machine is about. So the sewing machine what you see in at your home or very frequently at which is in the domestic use, it is said as the single needle lock stitch machine. So you first material what you require is the single needle lock stitch machine. Then you need to have a good understanding of the sewing machine. In the earlier activity we discussed about this every part and functions of sewing machine, handling the safety measures of sewing machine. So you should have before doing this activity you should be a good control on the earlier activity of the sewing machine, so and better understanding to perform this activity very well. Then you should have a good control over the sewing machine speed, which in the last activity you will practice, and ability to stitch straight lines, angles and curves. And you should have a material such as muslin cloth or cotton fabric for sample of preparing the samples of seams or different stitches. You can have these cotton fabric or the muslin fabric for developing the samples. And the most important, you should have your sewing kit. In your sewing kit you should have all the necessary requirements or the materials such as scissors, threads, needle, marking chalk, measuring tape, etc. All the requirement which you require for the stitching purpose, all that should be included in your sewing kit. Now first we should know, we will discuss the terminologies which is related to the seam, or when we go talk about the seams or stitches, what all terminologies are there. You should be very particular about that terms and have a proper knowledge of the difference between every terminologies. So first term we hear or we generally use is the stitch. So stitch is, as we have discussed in the activity also, the basic hand stitches. So stitches and seam both are the different terms. A stitch is a loop structure of threads. It is a loop of threads which we can also perform by the hand stitches or the machine stitches. But the stitching is said as a loop structure of thread. Stitch formation is due to the interaction between the needle, pressure foot and the feed dog. So when you see talk about the machine stitch, it is a interaction or it is a combination of needle, pressure foot and the feed dog, due to which the needle thread forms a kind of loop with the bobbin thread and set is locked stitch the fabric. So you can see in the image that this is how we perform a stitching on the sewing machine, and there are different types of stitches we can have. So this is the process. It is a process of formation of loop on the fabric, which is because of the interaction of thread, pressure foot and the feed dog with the help of the upper thread and the lower, that is the bobbin thread. Similar way we also developed different hand stitches also. We discussed in the one of the activity that there are different 6 to 7 basic hand stitches we use. We have the decorative stitch. If we talk about it, is the chain stitch. We have the blanket stitch we do to join two fabrics which are very thick and not able to stitch with the plain stitch or the normal even running stitch. We do the blanket stitch. We have the chain stitch. So in various stitches are there, and we can also have the machine stitch and the hand stitches. Then one term we use is the seam, which activity is based on the perfect seam. So what is seam? Seam, it is said as the series or a row of stitches. So we discussed the stitch, that it is formation of loop with the thread, both two threads. It is formed by forming a loop. It is said as stitch. But a series of or a row of stitches, what loop formation done on 2 layers or the more layers of the material to hold them together is called as seam. So it is said that when we join or we stitch 2 or more layers of material or fabric together, and there is a row of stitches, that collective row of stitches is said as seam. So it may be of different types varying from fabric to fabric. So like every fabric, if we have the thick fabric, we have different types of seams. If we have the thin fabric, we have different types of seams for the particular type of fabric, and it also depends from the garment or the design to design. So seam stitch is common, but the seams we use for the formation of construction of garment or stitching the fabric, seams may vary. It depends upon the type of the quality of the fabric what we are using. If we are using the very thin fabric, as we discussed in our earlier session also, that if we are preparing a garment of a very thin or a transparent fabric, like if we are stitching a chiffon or a georgette fabric, we for the side seam we use the French seam, which makes the garment very neat and finished from the side part. So like that, for the denim fabric on the trousers or jeans we wear, we have the flat fill seam. So like that, we have different types of seams for different types of fabric, and it depends upon the design or the garment we are developing. Then the term comes the seam line. So what is the seam line? We say it is a line of junction formed by sewing 2 layers of fabric together. So when we join 2 fabrics together and the sewing line or the point where that we do the stitching, that point is said as the seam line. So in the picture you can see that there are two different seams we have depicted for different types of fabric. Then the term comes, we have also discussed and it is a very important term we use in the when we are developing the pattern, fabric pattern or the paper pattern. This term or this terminology is used very frequently. So the seam allowance, we have discussed, it is the margin or the allowance or the gap which is given between the stitching line and the cutting line. So it is the distance from the fabric edge to the stitching line. Like if we have, you can see in this picture, in the first picture you can see a pattern is developed and the red line, outer line of the pattern is said as it is the marking of the seam allowance. Like on the left side you can see it is written no seam allowance, but in the armhole side it is written as the seam allowance. So it is the allowance or the margin which is given between the edge of the fabric to the stitching line. So it is the distance from the fabric edge to the stitching line, and it is also called as the seam margin. Seam margin and allowance both are the same thing, but we generally use the term seam allowance, which is the extra margin or extra fabric which is given on the pattern. Then the terms come the stay stitch or the hold stitch. So it is the stitching line placed just inside certain seam line to prevent them from stretching out the shape during handling and garment construction. So it is a stay stitch or hold stitch we do, that is the not permanent stitch, it is the temporary stitching we do when we have developed a pattern, we have cut the fabric according to the pattern and we are going for the machine stitch. So generally we do a temporary stitching on the garment to hold the fabric together. So if the purpose of doing that is to hold the fabric together. If we don't do and we go directly for the machine stitch, it may happen that fabric or if we have joined two pieces, it may slip off and the design may get disturbed. So the stitching line placed just inside the certain seam line to prevent them from stretching out the shape during handling and garment construction. And usually all the curves and angled area, like we have the armhole or the neckline needs stay stitching to prevent distortion. So this is the purpose of doing the stay stitch, or we call it as a hold stitch on the fabric while the garment construction. So this is the seam allowance we give on the pattern. Then these were the terminologies. Now we will discuss some principles of seam construction. What are the basic principle we should follow when we go for developing any seam or we are constructing a seam on a garment. So first of all, what we should do, we should align the fabrics along the cut edges. Like if we have developed a pattern and we have cut the fabric, what we should do, we should align all the fabrics along with the cut edges. We should align, if we have cut and we have the armholes, so we should align the front and the back armhole together. Then matching the balance notches. Notches we have discussed, it is a marking on the pattern which shows that from this particular point we have to join two pieces. So matching the balance notches, if any. Then what we should do while pinning, put the pins perpendicular to the seam line. If we have the fabric which is very slippery, so what we should do, we should put the pins, and pins when we are inserting into the fabric, it should not go straight on the fabric. It should always, we should pin the fabric perpendicular to the seam line. Then remove the pin as you sew and do not sew over them or needle would break. Like if we have two pieces, we have done the pinning on the side seam part, and then pinning is done to just hold the fabric together, and then we do the stitching on the machine. So when we are doing the stitching on the machine with a pin, we should avoid just stitching or we should do stitching little apart from that pin, or the needle may break. So what we should do, we should do the stitching with little apart from the pin, and when the stitching is done, we should remove the pin. Then what principle we should follow, we should select the right thread for the fabric, stitch length and needle size of the fabric to be sewn, and all these, the right type of, what type of thread we need for a particular fabric, stitch length and the needle size. All these three things, needle, thread and the size of the needle, stitch length, how much the length of the stitch should be, and the thread, what type of thread should we should use, it all depends of the type of fabric we are sewing. So what we do, select all these things very wisely. Then test the seam on the double strip of the same fabric that is to be sewn. So we just do the double checking of the seam we are using. Then check and adjust stitch tension and pressure, foot pressure, for the checking the stitch tension and if the pressure of the particular pressure foot and the stitch tension is proper or not, we should check it, and if it is not proper, we should adjust it. Then while attaching a bias strip to a straight fabric, keep the bias strip on the top and the straight fabric below. While sewing, a bias tends to stretch and get distorted. So if we are using a bias strip to finish a garment, so we should keep it very particularly on the garment, because the bias has the more stretch as we have discussed. So if we do not keep it attach the bias strip straight on the fabric, it get distorted. So reinforce the seam in the beginning and at the end with a back tacking. So back tacking is like locking the stitch at the beginning and at the end. So back tacking is very important. Otherwise, if we don't do the back tacking and we have completed with preparing the garments, completing the stitching of the garment, it may get loosen, or the stitch may get opened from that part. And then iron each seam after sewing. When we prepared the seam after sewing, just do the ironing to give a proper finish to the seam, and all seams should be narrow, neat and flat as possible. So these are the basic principles which you should follow when you are constructing a seam on a garment. Then there are some points on the sewing machine which you should always check when you are going to prepare a seam, or when you are going to stitch any garment or a fabric. So first you should always adjusting the thread tension. When we have discussed about the sewing machine, and there is every part we have discussed. So when we go for, so there are some particular points which should be adjusted or checked whether it is at its proper position or not. So adjusting the thread tension. The degree of strain placed on the spool thread as it passes between the tension disc is called as the upper tension. When you see a sewing machine, at the upper side where we keep the spool thread spool, from where we pass the thread to go into the needle, and it said as the tension disc. So it is the upper tension, and that on the bobbin case it is said as the lower tension. So while sewing machine have a tension control for the top thread and also for the bobbin thread. So we should check both the upper tension and the lower tension that they are on the proper position. So these control the increase and decrease the pressure on the thread as they are fed through the machine. So these two control the tension or the pressure, how the thread is coming into the needle. And in general, too little thread causes fabric puckering. Like if we have little threads, so our stitches are not even, or it is not smooth, it gets pucker, or it gets like uneven and the loops comes out, very loose threads we get, and strain easily broken stitches, or if it is very tight, the stitches may get broken. So on the other hand, too much thread produced a limp or a weak seam. So we can have these all drawbacks. If the tension of the upper and the lower tension is not properly working, we will not have a proper seam. So what we should balancing tension, what we do, the ideal stitch are formed when a needle thread and the bobbin thread are perfectly interlocked into the center of cloth. So it should be interlocked into the center of the cloth when we are sieving the fabric. Then when the pressure is correct on both the threads, the upper and the lower thread, a balanced amount of each thread is used to stitch each stitch, and the connecting link of each stitch is centered between the fabric layers. Then you can see in the picture that how the tension of upper and the lower part of the machine goes. From the spool we insert the thread from the thread circle, and it is inserted into the needle. Then when we fix the bobbin into the lower part, it also has the thread which comes up from beneath the feed dog. So these two threads is responsible for making a stitch on the fabric, and the tension should be very particular. Then we should adjust the needle thread tension also. So in this, the tension of the needle thread is adjusted with the help of tension regulator, and then we turn the nut on the regulator clockwise to increase the tension, and the anti-clockwise to reduce the tension. When you see our sieving machine, on the left side there is a knob which you can rotate clockwise and anti-clockwise to get the tension of the needle thread regulated. Then we should adjust the bobbin thread tension. So when we talk about the bobbin thread tension, the bobbin thread tension should be such that the bobbin thread is under the stress as it pulls out the thread from the bobbin, and bobbin is into the bobbin case. So we should adjust it very carefully, and bobbin thread can be adjusted by rotating the thread tension screw. As you can see in the picture that there is a thread tension screw. On the bobbin case you see a screw. So if the thread is not coming very smoothly from that eyelid, so what you can do, you can just loose or tighten the screw according to your purpose, and then you can have the thread coming very easily from that particular case. Then last, we should adjust the stitch length. So adjusting the stitch length, we use the stitch length regulator is on there on the machine, if you have seen. So in the old version machine that we have, the hand machine, there is on the right side we have a screw like structure. So you can loosen that screw and you can just do up and down to regulate the stitch length. And if you have the paddle machine, which is motorized machine, you have just a knob there to just increase and decrease the stitch length. So you can adjust your stitch length according to the fabric or your purpose of the design what you are stitching. So the stitch regulator is also called as the stitch dial. as you have seen in the picture, it has marking on it, like if we have the 1 2 3 4, and that we can adjust according to the 4 is the maximum, like we have the big like the inches or the centimeter of the stitch length is decided according to that. So we can rotate the stitch regulator to get the right side of the stitch as we required for the our design. Then last we can adjust the pressure on the pressure foot. So the pressure foot exerts some pressure on the fabric while it is being sewn, and light pressure is used for lightweight fabric and heavy pressure is used for heavyweight fabric. So what we do, we turn the pressure adjusting screw clockwise to make it pressure stronger, and turn the screw left to make the pressure of the pressure foot weaker. So this is how we can adjust the tension on the pressure foot according to the fabric what we are stitching. If we are stitching a lightweight fabric, we can just loosen the screw. So for after adjustment, firmly lighten the nut, and in the domestic machine it may have various it not have the nut, so we can adjust it according to that. So you can see that this is the how knobs look like on the machine for adjusting the pressure foot tension. So this was all about, we discussed in this particular session about how different terminologies are there we use in the related to the seam. We discussed about the stitches, what stitch is, what seam allowance, seam is there, seam line, and what is stay stitch or hold stitch. And then we discussed about different adjustment on the sewing machine or adjusting the balance, like we discussed different adjusting thread tension, the pressure foot tension, the bobbin thread tension, and the needle. So this all is very important when you go for the stitching. All these things you should keep in your mind and check it when you know that when you start a stitching, you should check all these adjustment of the tension, thread regulation, pressure foot, all you should check properly, then you should go for the stitching. So this was all about in this session, and hope you will, when you will experiment or when you will just perform this activity, you will understand it better. Thank you.